Hey!
We're live.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Dudes Dish Disney. Off in the wings, not quite joining us today, is our producer and resident tech dude, Figgy Boy.
Hey, what's up, dudes?
And also joining us is our co-host, Sharon's better half. He is the number one Disney dude, Ryan.
What's up? What's up, dudes?
And I'm Congo Carl, former Jungle Cruise skipper, former cast member, former world drinker, former Merlin's magician. I've had more roles than Ryan at a Disney buffet.
Hey, first of all, you're still a world drinker, so let's just get that under control real fast. You tried to stop, but it couldn't happen.
And we're delighted to be coming to you live on YouTube here in February 2025. And Jonathan will join us momentarily. As you guys know, he is a tech dude, and he does have other commitments. And he's doing some work for a sporting event, and he's rescuing the show right now. So that's taking a priority over the dudes. So
yeah. The technical was not actually the dude's problem. It was actually the very well-known baseball team in the Northeast problem.
That's right.
Not the Red Sox.
That's right. So anyways, being the consummate professional that Jonathan is, he's taking care of business. And we told him, hey, you know what? We'll jump into this, and you can jump in when he gets things cleaned up. So how's it going, Ryan?
It's good, except without John here, I'm going to be acting as tech dude for a little bit. So if things get a little wonky, blame Jonathan.
It's good.
Doing, Carl?
I'm doing good. I'm really excited for all the news that's been out there lately. We're getting close to an epic summer with the launch of everything. I know you've been traveling down to Orlando and sliding in some pictures of it, and you got your rooms booked for grand opening. I've been getting the inside true scoop from some of my sources who can't be named, and learning some exciting things about what the parks are going to have to offer. But just this past week, the interweb was just overflowing.
It was buzzing
with all the news about food, glorious food at the new Epic Universe and its hotels. So people are getting excited. It looks like they're going to crack things up a notch or two.
We are 90 days away from opening day at Epic. Universal started a 100-day countdown 10 days ago. And yeah, I mean, it's obvious they're starting to slowly release certain things. We've got our first look recently at the animatronic for How to Train Your Dragon, which looks super cool. Really, really cool, which anybody who's listened to us talk about Epic before, I wasn't exactly thrilled about that land, but if that's the type of energy they're bringing, I'm willing to give it a chance. But yeah, 90 days, man, it's gonna be here real fast. I booked my airfare yesterday to get down there, and yeah, we're excited. My wife and I we don't even know yet how they're gonna handle who goes into the park on opening day. We don't even know if it's just going to be like, hey, if you're here, you line up, whoever's here earliest in the morning, you have a ticket, you're good to go. Or if they're going to say, hey, you X ticket numbers, you get on opening day, everybody else gets the rest of the weekend. We have no idea how that's going to work yet. But the food is here, and that's what's important.
You won't be hungry while you're figuring out when you get in. So where are you guys staying?
We're going to stay at Aventura as of right now. We might actually move over to Cabana Bay. Sharon and I were just talking about this at dinner today, Carl, is that we've been down there a bunch of times. We're not really concerned about the other parks. We're going to go take some videos. We'll go have some drinks. We'll go have some butterbeer, do whatever. We're probably just going to chill and lay by the pool, right? For the most part. So Cabana Bay is really good for that. It's value and great lazy river.
Multiple bars, and
and Epic is where it's at, right? That's all we're really concerned about is We got our 1 day at Epic because that's the way that they ran this thing, and we'll be there opening day, and that's it. That's all we care about.
Yeah, so it's either rest up before or rest up after that big rope drop day, that you get. So that's cool.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's cool. And I've been looking at the sports book on what the over under is for Sharon going into Dark Universe. So
yeah, she'll be good. She'll be good. We'll go in during the day. So okay. She'll be fine. Yeah, she'll be fine.
Okay. All right. So we're looking forward to that. Yeah. So for those of our listeners who haven't been in tune to what's going on, there's some great news that's coming up from the sources on what's going on in some of these restaurants. So we thought we'd tour some of the lands and give you some of the highlights or lowlights, in our opinion, of what we see coming, maybe what we've heard of people doing taste tests behind the scenes, and share with you some thoughts on what's going on. So, Ryan, we can organize this any way you want. If you want to go by, if you want to start with a hotel or start with one of the lands, let's jump in.
Yeah, let's start with Celestial Park, just because that's what John had laid out. And, okay. That'll be the easiest for me. So let me see if I can make this happen.
All right. There you go. Very nice. Look at that.
Fancy.
Yeah.
It doesn't show us at all, but that's okay.
That's okay.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out the layout to see if we can make that happen, but yeah, that's not going to happen.
That's not going to happen. That's
okay. Look at Celestial Park first, Carl. Carl, we're going to start just scrolling through these and looking at them.
Okay.
So how about showing something that might be near and dear to your heart, which is going to be the sea bass at Celestial Park.
I am a seafood guy, but I'll tell you something. It's funny you mentioned the sea bass. I'm sure it's delicious. And some of the other sections that we'll get into, I just don't go to a theme park to grab a nice, healthy piece of salmon or sea bass.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very creative. Very great. I guess maybe the Universal sending a message that maybe its attendees should, consider being healthier and eating right.
Yeah, it's a new age theme park where we don't serve you fried foods anymore. We have sea bass for everybody. Yeah, it's a unique one for us to start on for sure, and not our only fish options. So we'll talk a little bit more about those in a few minutes. But I'm not really sure how this vibes with the environment either. Maybe that's more details that'll come out later. But really, for Celestial Park, as we look at what they have, it's almost like a World Showcase kind of vibe to the food that they've shown out there so far. So I don't know how else to describe it. It's very interesting. I don't think we need to spend so much more time on.
So I think, in fairness, now I think that restaurant which you showed that for, right? Isn't that the Atlantica? Is Atlantica or Atlantic one that looks like an aquarium in Celestial Park? All right, so I'll give them a break on that, as they're theming towards that, and that makes sense. So, if that's the case, okay, it's good to be on point with all your themes, but I'm not. I mean, first of all, you're not running there for breakfast in sea bass, and I don't know if you're running there for lunch, but man. This Victorian style aquarium is serving up seafood. So there you have it.
There we have it. Let's take a quick peek at the next one here. This is the platter with mango bread and pickles. This is quite different from the sea bass.
No, it is. And that's at another restaurant in Celestial Park, right?
I think so. I'm just going through the food, right? I don't even care what restaurants they're at. Like, let's forget the theming for a second here. Let's just talk about the fact that the way that they released this, right, in terms of the media that they provided to everybody, they basically went, "Oh, here's sea bass, and then here's some pork," right? It's like, let's go from sea bass to barbecue. Okay, Yeah, fine. I mean, it does look good, right? It does look good.
It's got to be at the Oak and Star Tavern, I'm guessing, which is
Yeah,
it, it's to me this looks like in Celestial Park the dude's place to go eat. Okay, it's totally their take on the Polite Pig, in Disney Springs. It is traditional Southern food, right? If you look at all their menu, it's it's a cross between the Polite Pig and Chef Arts, right? So the Southern food has got the real, biscuits and gravy and eggs Benedict and all that kind of, and chicken and waffles kind of thing, right? Going on. But then a lunch and dinner turns into traditional platters of smoked brisket, ribs, this pulled pork, jalapeno sausage, right? So it's going there.
cheddar jalapeno sausage.
Wow,
Now,
that's even better.
cheddar makes that, right? Like, because jalapeno sausage is like whatever. The cheddar
Right.
jalapeno is actually what caught my eye about that.
Better
When
with
I
cheddar.
looked at this, the first thing I said is like, all right, let me try some of that cheddar jalapeno sausage. That's the one that stands out that I don't feel like I've seen everywhere else. Brisket, ribs, pulled pork, chicken.
Yeah.
That's everywhere. That's
right.
But that one caught my eye a little bit.
Yeah, that looks like a dude's hangout, and then the classic Southern, desserts at a rib joint, banana pudding, that kind of stuff. But they do have a nice collection of beers there too. And it seems like the same breweries, before we really start getting into it, the same 4 or 5 breweries that are in all the restaurants. Now, they may not be the same beers in all the restaurants, but there seems to be a reoccurring theme of Left Hand Brewing, Strongbow, a Crooked Can, and a few other, the usual suspects in there.
Sure.
As far as beers, so it's pay attention to those brands. Of course, obviously, like a couple local Orlando breweries. It's nice that they're getting their due and their highlights. I know Theme Park Beer is very excited that some of those beers are coming to the parks. I saw him last month. Did I tell you that?
You did not.
He came up to Boston on business. And so I picked him up at the airport and I took him to a couple of breweries downtown. And we had a pretty good time that night. So, and it was actually snowing and he was very excited. He hadn't seen snow in like 25 years.
Yeah.
And he was like a kid running around in the snow.
Oddly enough, this week I'm hosting from my day job. I'm hosting a guy in town from Costa Rica, and he's never seen snow before. And when he landed, it was -1 Fahrenheit, which for him is like -40 Celsius, right? So he actually got a little bit of frostbite on his hand. Ooh. And thankfully he's okay, very small amount, but it looks like a burn, right? Yeah. And then it starts to kind of bubble over. And he's like looking at it, and I saw him, and I'm like, you have frostbite. You need to go like put something on that, like right now, But he didn't know, and his skin was so sensitive to it. So yeah, it's amazing when you bring people out of the warm and bring them into the cold, how they react, right? Oh, yay, snow. I'm like, no, get out of here. Don't do that.
It's not, And frostbite's a little bit more serious than a sunburn. So
yes.
I think we handle it going the other way. Yeah, okay. So there you go. I mean, there's pulled pork, right? And it's at a a tavern. How they mix the Southern food into the Celestial area, I don't know, but it looks like of the restaurants in that area that look kind of like a dude joint, I think I'd be checking this place out.
Speaking of, how are they mixing different restaurants into this area? Let's skip over to the Blue Dragon Pan Asian restaurant, and let's take a look at what their signature dish is going to be.
Oh yeah.
Ramen.
There you go.
Ramen. And this is the pork tonkatsu. So I sound like Jonathan trying to pronounce something. It's a pork ramen. It's missing broth for my liking.
Maybe that's on the side. Maybe you add it on. I don't know. the guy come by with a ladle and pour it in for you, or?
Oh, look at this. Dom just left Disney and is on the road watching the dudes headed up to the cold. Stay
There you
warm,
go.
Dom. Keep your eyes on the road, buddy.
That's it.
It was
We don't
fun watching.
we don't YouTube well in driving. Yeah, so this restaurant was one that visually stood out to me on the map, right, and on the artwork. So I was excited for this because love the concept of what it is. Like you said, here we go, a totally different, like you say, the Epcot of everything. Chinese, Japanese, and Thai cuisine. That's fun. But what made that really exciting to me is not the ramen, but everything you drink alongside the ramen. There was some nice looking cocktails in there, although they've gone heavy on the curacao everywhere. But there is some potential there for it to have a little feeling of Trader Sam's.
Potential. We'll see. We'll see.
Yep.
I mean, definitely some cool looking drink options, right? And there's, like you said, lots of potential. The outside is very interesting, very bright and colorful. And actually, thematically, from what we know about Celestial Park, looks like it's gonna fit. It's almost got that like downtown Tokyo kind of vibe to the outside of it, which is cool. But yeah, it's gonna be really interesting to see how they pull it all together.
Yeah, and and then they have, you got to have pot stickers at a place like this, which they have, but smashed cucumbers. I don't know.
I can smash cucumbers at home. I don't need to go to.
I don't need to go. There's two things I'm not going to a theme park to do. One, eat salmon, and two, smash cucumbers. Right?
Barry says we're talking his language, and I'm not sure which one, but I'm guessing, knowing Barry and his wide assortment of your favorite type of shirt. My guess is he's talking more about the Trader Sam's vibe in that place.
Yeah.
What are they calling that? They're calling it the Tiger Bar. Is that what they're calling the main
Blue
bar?
Dragon. The Blue Dragon.
Yeah, the Blue Dragon is the restaurant, but I think the bar inside is what they're calling the Tiger Bar.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's all we have to say about that.
All right. That's not to be confused with the Cougar Bar, which is across the park. But
that's actually back in Universal Studios. I'm pretty sure they call that Finnegan's.
All right. So yeah, I mean, and look, at the list does not end with, we're highlighting a lot of the sit down full services, but the list of all the stuff going on at the quick service is pretty interesting too. Now, right along with the celestial theme is the Frosty Moon. And, the Frosty Moon is going to be your ice cream joint with all kinds of ice cream.
Oh, look at this cute little thing they're going to have at the Frosty Moon.
There you go. Look at
it's
you.
It's a snickerdoodle treat for the kiddos. Get your shovel out.
You have to have ice cream, right, in the main thoroughfare somewhere, because it's a must. And
because it's Orlando still. You can pretend like you're in a different planet, but you're still in Orlando. You need ice cream everywhere.
Yeah. And the Frosty Moon is not to be confused with the Pizza Moon. And I thought the Pizza Moon was something that Jonathan did at a cruise to somebody.
No. That was totally different. That was totally different. That was
all right.
There was no pizza involved. Just
all right. Okay.
Yeah,
he's not here to defend himself, but that's okay.
When you press the ham against the window of somebody else's cruise cabin, you don't deserve to be there to defend yourself. It's the wild side.
But they have a barbecue sauce tender rotisserie chicken pizza, which
Mhm.
looks pretty good. And they're bringing it out but they're also doing some rigatoni with some huge meatballs.
Hey, huge meatballs.
Huge meatballs. I mean, that's on top of spaghetti covered with cheese. That's legit meatballs. But yeah, so I mean, your typical. It's interesting how they laid it out. There's another place with corn dogs. There's another place with, um, that's interesting there that they're keeping that theme. Um, oh, you know what? I was confusing the Asian place with, um, is the Celeste Tiki,
Yeah.
right?
That's thank you, because that was very confusing to me earlier, Carl. I'm like, I don't know how they're going to make that work, but hey, whatever. I think what I think happened is in your old age, you immediately thought of your local favorite spot, which is very Pan Asian mixed with
Right.
Turkey, right? So
Yep.
it's a famous place, right? It's closing down.
Yep.
I don't remember the name of it. I'm not a Bostonian.
The Kowloon we talked about.
Kowloon,
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, if I have to go all the way to Universal to get that, that's fine. But the Celeste Tiki is sort of a quick to go. It looks like all the cocktails are in plastic cups, and it looks more along the lines of a casual Trader Sam's. Can't get the vibe on it. It's going to be alcoholic and non-alcoholic, but some of it looks pretty potent.
Do you need any more of a vibe than some of it's going to be alcoholic? I mean, it's not like it takes much more than that to get us into a place.
No. It looks like it's not. It's a fast food kind of place. It's frozen daiquiris, frozen margaritas, frozen pina coladas, kind of thing that's probably been
like
pre-mixed.
Hannah's almost, yeah.
Yeah, it's probably been pre-mixed and somewhere between. Somewhere between Volcano Bay and the new park, and they're shipping it, in freezer trucks to get poured into your glass that day.
You know what? Give me the Cabana at Volcano Bay all day with the frozen drinks. So if I can get a little bit of a vibe like that in the parks, I'm totally down with that.
Yeah.
I'm totally down with that. I think in that area, right? Just kind of maybe wrap up Celestial Park. I think the one I'm looking forward to most is the pizza place. There is no real good pizza at Universal at all, right? Like at least Disney, you've got a couple places that are borderline good pizza places or decent pizza places. But even the worst pizza at Disney, which is the hotel pizza that you can buy in the quick service restaurants, is 10 times better than any pizza that you find in Universal outside of one of the resorts.
Right. I was going to make that caveat, the resorts, because the Portofino does have a good quick service pizza place. You can get it by the slice,
but it's still just okay, right? Like to me, with the exception of like that, right? Disney's got 3 other places that are just as good or better than that on property. So this is an opportunity for Epic to set a standard. I mean, look at I think we've got a picture of one of them, right? I mean, this looks like it could be interesting, right?
Yeah.
It looks like they're going for more of a Sicilian style, kind of fluffy, airy crust style, not the dense kind of crappy crust, right, that you get at most pizza places in theme parks.
Yeah. This is the Vesuvio, right?
Yeah,
that's the Vesuvio. Pepperoni, sausage, roasted peppers, onions. It's the traditional ingredients, but it looks like maybe a little bit. There's something going on with some fresh greens on top.
Some arugula going on there too, which is a kind of a new way of pizza places going, right? And like the crust with that kind of looks like even if it turns out to be something like a mod pizza or a pie 5 or whatever you guys have by you, right? Where it's wood fired, but it's 10 minutes to get it kind of deal. That would be a big improvement. So the other place like that at Universal.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, compared to Boston and New York pizza, I'm looking at that crust and I'm not too excited. That's
Sure. Well, sure. But even Chicago pizza, right? Like, regardless of how you feel about each of them, we all know we're not getting any of that quality in the parks, and that's okay. But this is at least looking like a step up from what I'm used to at Universal.
Yeah, we'll see. Right.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're excited about it. We'll have to make sure we try it, and you possibly can't try everything on opening day. So,
I mean, have you seen me? I can try.
even if you and Sharon split half the menus, you wouldn't get to it all. So
yeah, that's true. That's true. But we'll go for the big ones. We'll try what we can.
Yeah. So, all right. Yeah, pick a land. Where are we going?
Let's go. Where's John have next? Thanks, John, for making this easy for us. Remember when he said it would be 5 minutes, 25 minutes ago, 45 minutes ago? No, this is let's go to Dark Universe.
Here we go.
Get the one in the middle. And look at this piece of
wood. That I don't know if it's the photography or what, but I'm just not too excited about what's on that plate.
Yeah, I'm not really excited about it either. And what's funny about it is when they talk about it, they're like, "Oh, it's got a bird on a steak," right? Is what that picture was.
Yeah.
I'll pull it back up again. Bigger version of it. Bird on a steak, right? So it's like making a big deal about the fact that, like, oh, vampire, it's got a steak through it, but then like the picture doesn't even show the steak, really, right? Doesn't really show where.
Well, no, so that's you can see it a little bit out on the back. Hey, John.
Hey, guys.
Yeah, but that looks like a popsicle stick, Carl.
Well, it's a wooden steak. Yeah.
I mean, I get what they were trying to do with this one, but it's weird. It's weird looking. Like, let's be honest. I don't know. I get it with the land and everything, but I don't know. It's just not. I don't know.
Here's the thing, right? When we did our preview of the lands and we knew there was a place called the Steakhouse, we were excited because we thought it was going to be a steakhouse. And it's not. It's a play on that steak through Dracula's heart, right? And they do chicken and meat and all these, and even vegetables. When I was looking at the menu, I'm like, "What? Are you kidding me?"
My favorite is your face as you said it. Like God forbid somebody put something healthy on your plate while you're trying to eat something relatively unhealthy, Carl.
Oh no, it was awful. Vegetables, I was like, "What is going on with that whole situation?" But I'm going to tell you the good news, okay, about Dark Universe before we look at any other food there, okay? And this was for me, this was the announcement of the week that got me pumped. And that is that the Crooked Can Brewing Company, okay, has an exclusive beer available everywhere just in Dark Universe. So all the restaurants, all the cart stands, whatever it is, wherever there's a tap, you're going to be able to get Reaper's Reserve. And Reaper's Reserve is a caramel spice brown ale made in collaboration with the Orlando's Crooked Can Brewing. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited for that. They did a good job. The Tampa breweries did a good job with all the different beers, with Harry Potter, right? So they seem to step it up when they put stuff on tap, and they're very excited about. There was a tasting that some friends went to, and they said that this is a fabulous ale. That brown ale, and it's they think it's going to be well themed in Dark Universe, but even with the heavy flavors in the ale, they said it's very refreshing for the Florida weather. So I'm excited to try it.
I agree with the fact that it's the right theme, like the right drink for the area. Crooked Can is really good, so it's good to see them bringing in the local vendors. I'm just not an ale fan. It's just not my, it's just not my kind of beer. So I'm not excited from that standpoint, but I do give them a lot of credit for what they're trying to do with it. And, I'll take one for the team and I'll try it. Right. I'll test it out. But
I I mean, you that didn't take much convincing there to be willing to try that, Ryan. I'm sorry, but that was
thought
not
about it. I
hard.
said, yes, I will do that. Yeah.
As we say in the travel business, it's for research.
It is for research, right? I gotta make sure I have enough things to write off on my taxes next year. So if it's got to be alcohol, it's got to be alcohol.
There you go. So yeah, what else looks interesting in Dark Universe as far as options?
Interesting. That's positive, so I'll keep it positive. Interesting positive to me is the blood orange chicken sandwich. I don't know, John, do you want to take back over media?
Yeah, I can jump back in here.
Thank you so much. Woo, look at that.
Yeah.
I mean, this one was the first one that caught my attention, to be honest with you. I mean, I was like, okay, all right, that's a little bit of a different take with the blood orange. You don't usually see that often as a flavor profile of something that stands prominent, but I have high hopes for this one. I mean, let's be honest, chicken sandwiches and fried chicken and all that, it's become kind of the forefront lately. So this has kind of got a lot of hope. And I really hope they deliver on this one. Let's be honest.
It's a big gamble. You're right, because you are absolutely 100% correct that fried chicken, whether it's spicy or regular fried chicken, has become in the last 4 or 5 years. I mean, people were literally dying over the fried chicken at KFC, the sandwich, right? The spicy chicken sandwich. So, it's become a big thing that it was actually a huge problem for the industry. They couldn't keep up with the demand for it for several years. It's finally catching up now. But here's the problem with that is if they miss, that's a big miss, right?
So it is interesting because, it's not like they're going for a Tennessee hot chicken, right? It's a total different flavor. If you do something like that, everyone knows what it is, and they're going to say it's not hot enough, it's too hot, or it's good, or I've had better, right? So it's interesting that you're going another different direction. I just look at that, and to me, black food is not appetizing.
But this fits this land though with everything of what it is. I mean, I get it.
Yeah, the color, whether the color of that bun or the color of the plate or the color of the charred black food on the bird on the steak picture beforehand, it's just, to me, it's not appetizing. To me, I immediately conjures up it's burnt, right? It's overcooked, right? Yeah, I'm sure it's not. I'm sure it's fine.
What movie did they do this for? Burger King released a Whopper, the last couple years with a black bun on it, and that was actually very similar to what the review was when that came out. And I wish I could remember what it was, but
I'm trying to look it up right now.
But even still, right? Like, you're right. And actually, if I remember correctly, when they first had it, and I know you don't like potty humor, Carl, but people were like, not only was it black, it turned my teeth black, but the next day it was also black in the toilet. So hope there's none of that. I like what they're doing in terms of like the blood orange though, and like it looks like there's blood coming out of the sandwich, and this is supposed to be in a restaurant that's themed after Dracula. So okay, right? I get all that, right? It should be a steak, right? And it should be a sit down meal and not a quick service meal. But we've talked about that already,
right?
But I will give this a try. Of all the things that I've seen in Dark Universe, that is probably the one that I'm most likely to go out of my way to try.
So I just looked it up. So Burger King, it looks like they did that just for Halloween. They didn't do that for any movie or anything else. It was kind of just a Halloween kind of thing, just to kind of do a theme. Because I guess Burger King's been doing that lately with different things. Because I know they did the Krabby Patty and all that as well a while ago. So
I was on the road traveling, and I had no choice but to stop at Burger King. So I stopped at Burger King, and SpongeBob's voice came out of the. You know what it was? It was Wendy's, because Wendy's and Burger King is owned by the same company.
That's right. Yep.
But it was Wendy's, and it like totally caught me off guard, and I was like, "What the hell did I just hear?" And then, of course, right afterwards, you get this dude with a deep voice. How can I take your order? I'm like, we just went from SpongeBob to like awkward scenario. But yeah, I knew something like that had come out, but I agree that the bun is a little off-putting, but I'm still going to give it a shot.
I mean, I think, to Carl's defense, the older generation, that scares them a little bit. I know there's some foodies that kind of see that and like, oh, okay, this could be interesting. Because I know sometimes the reason behind that is like kind of different things like charcoal and the benefits of that and all that. So there's definitely foodies that are like, okay, there's a benefit to eating this black food depending on how they made it. Obviously, I'm pretty sure there's no charcoal benefits in what Universal's putting out with this, but hey, I think it's going to drive a demand on this one. Let's be honest, because again, it fits the land, it fits all that. I mean, it's different. We can all agree to that. It's very different.
Yeah, so let's go to a couple other things, right? In that area, the Darkmoor Black Wings, again, it's, chicken wings, the whole wing's not bites, like a full wing. So it's got that kind of look, we call them South Shore and North Shore wings here, John, right? Everywhere else, they cut the wings and they don't leave the tail of the wing on them. But the Darkmoor Black Wings look like they have it in a charred scallions and soy chili garlic sauce. Again, it's a black sauce drizzled all over these wings and served with pimento cornbread in the shape of skulls. So
because we can't get cheesy enough in this area. We're gonna
I was gonna say. I mean, they're definitely trying to keep the theming going with that a little bit. I mean, I don't think you really needed to go with the skull shaped cornbread, because I don't know, that just seems way too over the top for this. I get the sauce and I get the color, and again with the theming of everything else that's in the land. But it also, because of what the sauce is, I mean, that's kind of almost a little bit natural for that color to show up in that.
Guys, this whole area is all about Instagram, right? Like honestly, you look at what they're putting on these things and you're looking at what comes with it and the stylization of it. It's all about getting stuff on Instagram. It could suck, but if it goes on Instagram, it draws attention, right? Like that's it's like the Halloween Horror Nights last year. They had the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man that was charred, and everybody was posting it all over Instagram. Well, guess what? I went there and I got it. It was terrible. It was a freaking s'more, and it wasn't even cooked all the way because they were more worried about charring the top of it for the effect than they were about getting the consistency of it right. So, but how many of those did you see? It drew dollars. Right. That's what it's all about.
I will agree with you there. I know we're kind of getting sidetracked a little bit, but I'll agree to you there. Even when I went to HHN, the line for that alone is insane. And I'm like, it's not good. Stay away from it. Like I told people I'm like, don't even bother with it. I've heard it's horrible. It's not worth the money. And I'm glad we walked away because the line was ridiculous. It was like a 20+ minute wait just to get a stupid s'more.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it was a big s'more though.
Look, the last place to talk about in this area is, really want to talk about Instagrammable, or one of the biggest hype things is the Burning Blade Tavern, right? Looks so cool. That's going to be your, shot. They say it looks just as dramatic in the day as in the night, and the whole theming about what's going on in there. They haven't released much on that menu, and it is another quick service. So I was with a name like Burning Blade Tavern, I was looking for a bar with all these different options. It's going to be some beer. I didn't even see, like, maybe some seltzer. It wasn't clear on it. And then I'm sure it'll be well themed as they're doing with the beers, but it's pretzels and, cheddar bites and burgers. It's not like,
it's Baseline Tap House, right? That's what it's going to be. It's going to be like a walk-up window with a bunch of little bar tables.
Yeah.
Go up and grab a beer and a snack and hang out for 20 or 30 minutes and then bounce out to the next place you go.
Right.
This area, for as cool as it looks, this is the one that no matter what comes out of it, I continue to be skeptical of the area, right? All the way down to the fact that the vegan dish that they proposed is in this area.
The vegan dish is the one dish that I the first time I read that, I had to read it twice because I'm like, you're promoting the vegan dish? Like, what? And again, I'm all for that because I mean, hey, nothing wrong with vegan, but I'm like, that's what we're promoting. Like, okay,
I
You
mean,
obviously you obviously missed the salmon because they're promoting that too. So.
well, I
The
mean,
worst
that's
part
a little
about
bit.
it-
Salmon's a little bit different. Salmon's more popular than anything. I'll give that.
the worst part about it is it's probably the coolest looking dish, right?
Yeah.
Like just like gory, whatever. But like the misses that they have in here, I don't care that it's vegan. I don't care that they have a vegan offer. I don't care that they're popularizing it and making it look cool, right? What I care about is that you're going to have a place that's literally known for vampires who suck the blood out of people. I'm sorry, there's no vegan vampire, right? Like, why do we not have a steak restaurant?
Remember, there's synthetic. If you remember from True Blood way back in the day, there was synthetic blood. So
Sure. Yeah, I never watched that show. It was terrible. But in my opinion. Okay, but like, why do we not have a sit-down steak place here? You will not convince me that this area is going to be worth anything because they screwed up the most basic thing they could have put in this area, which was steak tartare. Right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
in a good steak place. Like
You got between the werewolf and Dracula. Yeah, that would be perfect.
yeah. And I'm really concerned about this area for that reason. There's so many things to be excited about with Epic, but I'm just so worried I'm going to come out of there and be like, yep, that's exactly what I thought it was.
The ride is supposed to be off the chain. And the roller coaster, we have mixed reviews on that, right? But
yeah,
it's really going to be about the ride and the 36 next generation A1000 audio animatronics they have in there. And it's going to be about that windmill coming up in flames, just like the dragon at Diagon Alley, right? I mean, that's what that place is going to be all about, and to have a brown ale. So we'll see.
the brown ale they got right. We all can agree on the brown ale being right.
So all right. Hey, John, why don't you? Well, you've got the order. What land did you pick next, John?
So actually, for you guys' sake, I mean, I apologize to everyone watching too. There were some technical issues to why I joined so very, very late with the full-time job, and I do apologize to the viewers for that. You guys got to fill me in. I assume, what are we doing? Just going straight down the list?
Yeah, we did. In your absence, we did Celestial Park. You came in a Dark Universe. So we've got a couple places to keep going to.
All right. So I guess the next one here, we'll jump down to Harry Potter. I guess we'll go to the next one here for this.
All right.
And this one, I mean, definitely is interesting. The big one here that definitely caught my attention here was this butterbeer crepe. I will honestly agree. This one kind of excites me a little bit, but at the same point, I'm kind of just like, okay, it's more butterbeer, but it's just another attempt at butterbeer. And again, we can all agree butterbeer is really good, but I'm a little interested to see kind of how this turns out with this crepe.
Butterbeer lost me once it moved away from the drinks. Right? When it started going into everything else, it was like, okay, this isn't that good anymore. Right? It's just the caramel cream soda mixture does not work. It worked okay with the ice cream, but it didn't work with the pudding. It doesn't. I don't think it's going to work with the crepe, right? And maybe it will, but it's like, I agree with you, John. It has potential, but it's probably going to fall flat, right? It just give me the regular butter beer, right? I don't need it in everything. I don't have 7-Up, grapes at home, right? Although I guess I do have a 7-Up cake. but I mean, like, I don't know. I feel like it's being overdone at this point. Just too much at this point.
I just saw, all I could think of is La Crêperie in Epcot.
Yeah.
And okay, we're making a French version, so that's been popular. Let's do a butterbeer crepe, right? Let's combine the two popular things. But what's weird about this is it's not only it's a butterbeer Bavarian cream that they filled the cream, and then they've drizzled it with some sort of a butterbeer solution too. So I don't know what's going on with that.
Why don't
It's
they
going to be
just give you a
butterbeer and
giant
butterbeer and
sugar-
butterbeer. That's all it's going to be.
Just give you a giant sugar cube and be like, here, eat this. Because that's all we're doing here.
Yeah. Well, we'll have a glucose test for you after you eat it too. So
Christy is not vibing with us on this one. Christy's saying it excites her. So I mean, Christy, answer in the comments. But like, are you a fan of all the other butter beers? Like, does all of them, or is there any of those that fall short for you? Because like, to me, as we talk about all these things, that's what bothers me about it. Is it's just like hit or miss. Christy just said more butterbeer.
More
all the butterbeer. Yes.
All the butterbeer.
All the butterbeer. Okay. So butterbeer can never do wrong with Christy. That's okay, right? Like that's okay. I'm okay with that too.
And this is in that cafe, right? In the Paris section of the Wizarding World. So it's half Paris, half London.
Mm-hmm.
And it's in that it's interesting. All three Harry Potter lands have a place that opens up especially for breakfast, right? So that's for the rope drop people that are going to their favorite butterbeer. And no doubt, I just noticed that is like, that's the breakfast place. The crepes are there. Okay. The Harry Potter package you can get includes 3 breakfasts, right?
That's
all those
exactly
different places.
What it is.
Yeah. And so that's it. It's like, if you're a Harry Potter fan, you're getting up early in the morning to make sure you do it all day.
And I do feel like most of these quick service restaurants, if Universal's smart, which they have been, there's no reason to think they won't be. I think they will be more like Leaky Cauldron and Three Broomsticks than they will be like, the Green Eggs and Ham spot, right? Like,
yes,
I think they're going to be more themed, really in all the lands, not even just Harry Potter, but more themed. A little bit of space to sit down inside, so we don't have eating off of garbage cans, right, and that kind of stuff. So I think that'll help all of this also. But yeah, that's
and just like those other Harry Potter restaurants, they pivot towards the lunch and dinner menu, and the French menu pivots at this restaurant as well.
Mm-hmm.
And highlighted front and center, they want to get you excited about the lentil stew.
Your response to this in our own email chain beforehand was what made this so hysterical, to be honest with you. The fact that was the thing that caught your eye so much that you had to literally...
It's like the salmon. Who goes to a theme park to have a lentil stew? I mean, come on. Who's going there? And this is a vegan lentil with savory vegan bacon and vibrant root vegetables. I'm sorry.
Like, I get the meat, like the Impossible Whopper, and I get all that stuff. Whoever came up with vegan bacon, I'm sorry, you don't deserve to be on this planet.
No.
Like, I'm fine with everything else vegan, but like, really, bacon, like, that is the epitome of a meat lover's paradise, right? I don't know. No, thank you.
To me, though, at a theme park, especially like a theme park with a name of Epic, is throwing yourself into these adventures, throwing yourselves, into these worlds of imagination, and grabbing the gusto of life. And somehow, when I'm grabbing the gusto of life, a beer in one hand, I don't envision a lentil stew in the other hand.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
That's fair. That's very fair. I mean, it is definitely a different one. That's just not something you expect. Let's be really honest. That's just not what's expected at all. But
is there anything else in the Wizarding World that caught your attention there, as far as?
I want to bring up something just because I've had the privilege. I'm gonna flash it up on the screen here. Really quick. This is the baguette that they put out there, and this is going to be like a lunch kind of cafe kind of menu. And I want to kind of bring this up because I've had the pleasure of being in Europe several times recently. And one thing I'll tell you, for Americans who don't travel to Europe, thematically, this is very accurate. this is something that needs to be here, because you can't walk 10 yards without running into another little shop that's selling baguettes, right? Like they are everywhere throughout Europe.
Yeah.
And even though it's a super basic sandwich, that is very European. So I'm not excited about it by any stretch, but kudos to getting the details right. Kudos to getting the details right.
Oh, absolutely. That's especially, it's not just Europe, it's Paris they're emulating. And even the way it's served there with the wrapped up brown paper is the way you walk away from it somewhere. So, all good, right? All good stuff. We just need to, to figure out as dudes where we're going to, sustain. Now, of course, the good news is that, at those restaurants are going to be not only some good beers, but there's going to be some great thematic wines as well, which there should be in France, right? So they're going to bring out some great looking French wines and some California wines, and I think people are going to be happy with everything they're getting, whether it's a Cab, a Malbec, a Merlot, or even a Rosé. There'll be people in that little cafe sipping a glass of wine, enjoying themselves in the venue, and there's nothing wrong with that.
I just don't foresee the universal crowd sipping wine in the theme park. I just don't see it, right? Like I don't see it really at Disney other than Epcot.
Yeah,
right?
Epcot makes sense, but anywhere else, it just doesn't seem. It doesn't seem right for any theme park in general to someone to go into the theme park and have a glass of wine. Let's be honest.
Let me sit and enjoy my Merlot.
But it's in a French cafe. It makes sense. I'm just saying at that
bit of it does, but even still, you're in a theme park. I mean, are you that type of person that you're like, oh, I got to get my fancy glass of wine. I'm in a theme park. I just spent $100 whatever plus dollars to come into a theme park, but I need to get my fancy wine while I'm here too. That to me doesn't sound like the typical response of someone to go into a theme park. Let's be honest.
How long have you known me?
Yeah,
you're a different case. No. You're an absolutely different case. Let's be honest.
But
there's people who will do it. I'm just saying
there is, but those folks. Let's be honest. Those folks are a different breed. So,
well, thank you.
Here again, though, we're talking about quick service restaurants. If this was a table service restaurant with a couple of good bottles of wine inside of it, makes all the sense in the world.
Right.
Yeah. But that's the cafe aspect of it is where I agree with John. Right, Carl. I don't foresee you doing this. No. And I know you love wine, but if it was a table service, you would be like, "Hey, boys, bring the bottle." Right? Like it's totally fine. So again, little things like this are like, okay, like all these things look really cool, but the little misses here and there. I wonder if we'll see changes in the future, right? If maybe the wine doesn't exist for longer than 6 months, we'll see.
Yeah. What I expected to see was, and I guess that it hasn't been released and everything. The parallels in that themed land are so consistently paralleled with the other two themes. There's going to be a candy store, a pastry store, right?
Yep.
There, all of those things that you'd expect from that book and that story are there. And there's a butterbeer cart, right? Now there is one other bar that the details are not open up on, and that's Bar Moonshine. Not to be confused with, what did we say, the Moon Bar or the pizza?
John's pressed ham.
Yeah, the Moon Pizza. Yes, there's everything's named. So this is Bar Moonshine. It's actually in there, but it is supposed to be a sit-down bar, beer, wines, and cocktails with special effects in the bar. So now we're getting more to kind of like, a Trader Sam's kind of thing going on, right? but it's the charms and enchantments of the Wizarding World going on around the bar. That's worth a checking out, but the menu hasn't been published yet. That may be a little step above. We'll see.
So imitation is the best form of flattery, right? Like, and I'm all about that. And hey, if it works somewhere, there's no reason not to copy it, right? Are we a little concerned that there aren't too many blue ocean ideas at Epic at this point? I mean, there's a lot of things that are either just like brought from the past or brought from somewhere else that was successful somewhere else. How many things are really new at Epic, right? Like,
and I think to your point, that's good because that's good. But I think in the last two lands that we review, Ryan, we're going to see more of that, right? So I think.
I mean, I looked at the food at Mario. I'm not sure I agree with you, but
yeah, that's a whole point where I'm gonna pause my opinion until we get there. But
maybe let's table this thought and bring it back up at
all
the
right,
end of the show.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So you want to jump into Mario since we said the magic word?
I mean, jump down the tube. Yeah, let's make it happen.
All right. Well, here we go. We're down the pipe.
The little mustache on the top of the burger cracks me.
I'm gonna jump right in here, and I'm just gonna show the full length burger here. I'm a little disappointed that this is what they're featuring for food in this land. Like, let's be honest. Like,
they got the mushrooms right.
I don't think it's the right type of mushrooms, though. Let's be honest.
I mean, they're not going to make you grow bigger and stronger. No, I don't think so.
Is that a shiitake? Is that a shiitake mushroom?
Looks shiitake to me.
I don't know. I'm a little disappointed because I've seen some of the stuff that's come out of Japan. And I'm a little disappointed that they're not featuring that here in Orlando. Because some of that stuff is cool. But again, things that come out of Japan don't always translate well here to the States, or for whatever reason, it just doesn't work, even though there's always that demand. So I'm a little disappointed we're not seeing more of that type of a menu show up here being featured. So, because I'm sorry. The other option is this.
Luigi's burger.
That looks so nasty.
Yeah, I'm not really. That doesn't really pique my interest. Let's be honest.
Are they going to serve them with the little hats on them? Like
I think so. They did that. They do that a lot in Japan. I've seen on some of the stuff. Like even Disney does a lot of that stuff. So I think it's definitely a culture thing.
Is that edible, or is that just like a little like the pick that they put in?
I think it's just like a toothpick, to be honest with you. I think it's just a toothpick. I mean, if that's what you want to do, is you want to eat it, by all means. I don't know it's going to do well for you, but
I mean, you never know.
There's your mushroom. There's your power up.
Yeah. Right? I think that might be a power down. That might be a life lost. I think what's weird about this to me is you could have taken the Mario area and the Mario theme with food a couple of different directions. You could have gone Italian with it. You could have gone New York with it, right? You could have go New York Italian with it. And they went with neither with these two main featured burgers, right? It's just whatever. It's just what it is. They did, however, have a third dish in this area for food that I think is the one that they really should be highlighting as the main, which is the Bowser's Fireball Challenge. Now, this to me is a dude thing going on here. Number one, I don't care about the shaped Instagram needy bun, okay? What I do care about is that it is a 1 pound meatball. That's a dude meal in the middle of meatball.
Yeah.
Right. So for them, to me, that, I mean, not only from the fit to the theme, right? The Italian meatball with Mario and Luigi, perfect, right? But the fact that it is the best looking food that they have. It's the most Instagrammable food that I think they're going to have. I think that's the one that they should be featuring out to everybody. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but that's where I'm at.
I don't disagree with you with that. This was the one that it caught my attention. Like, okay, all right, I like this. It's definitely a big chunk of food with the hot sauce and everything. I'm like, okay, I like this. This is definitely something different that I think you're going to see a lot of people try to do and take on. And again, it's not a burger and it doesn't look horrible. Let's be honest. It looks actually decent, at least to try once.
I just don't want to eat the mustache. You know what I'm saying? Like, they got the little mustaches, and that little thing inside should be like free mustache rides.
There you go. That could be the next attraction.
Free mustache. I'm gonna win.
Ryan, yeah, that's what you got to do the next time you're playing Mario Kart is just start screaming that on your stream.
It does look the best of everything. It's the only thing I think I would taste. There's some. I'm adverse to theme park Italian food too, but because I just know it's not good having access to good Italian restaurants. But I think that one is the most appealing. The other one, I don't think it's going to make it because you're talking about Japan. There's something, the Disney parks, the Universal parks, what they do with the food there and everything you read online is, one, it's economically priced compared to the snacks and food you find in the U.S. parks. It really is. You don't spend as much as you did on a theme park ticket eating 2 meals in those parks or snacking around in those parks. Are very reasonably priced. They had Yoshi's got a thing in Japan I was hoping was coming here, the Yoshi Snack Island, because the ride is there, but it's a calzone that's shaped like a tortoise shell.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it is coming.
It is coming. Okay,
yeah, Yoshi's is coming. They just haven't released any details on it yet. The only thing that we've seen from this land so far is the Toadstool Cafe, but you're still going to have Yoshi's Snack Island and Turbo Boost Treats and the Bubbly Barrel.
Okay.
So there's a lot more coming for food in this area, and drinks for that matter.
And I was just hoping for something, banana flavored in Donkey Kong World.
Oh boy.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Right?
You gotta have it.
You gotta.
We'll just find someone to start throwing bananas at you from
I'm
bridge.
okay, by the way. I'm okay with not eating anything in Mario, just riding the rides. I'm okay with that, compared to some of the food we've seen other places with the park. So, yeah.
Carl, the Bubbly Barrel is where they're going to have the Donkey Kong stuff.
Okay.
And the what they say on the website, because they haven't released anything else, is enjoy a cool tropical drink beneath the thatched roof of the Bubbly Barrel. So that is going to be your banana drink. You're 100% going to get a frozen banana drink there.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if not, it's another wasted opportunity.
All right. So the final land that we haven't covered yet, I have to say is probably the land I'm most excited about from a food and beverage perspective. Because there's nothing like being a Viking going into Mead Hall and grabbing a mead and grabbing an ale and grabbing a wonderful platter of, what was it? The Thaw First platter? It's called?
It is called
the Thaw First.
The Thaw First platter.
Yeah. So again, great theming. Why they had to put the salmon on there, I don't know.
Salmon? Norway is
Norway,
the
yes, I know.
salmon.
Yeah,
I
get it.
That's why it's got to be there.
I
hate salmon, but I understand it and I get it. I don't like it.
Yeah.
But I understand it.
I understand why it's there, but it's you know it's not going to be cooked. It's going to be overcooked. It's going to be, in a theme park. It's not going to be.
Yeah, I don't know because I'm not going to eat it.
Right. So,
I will never try that.
So that to me, that Viking meat platter. Now there were some other interesting things on that menu. I don't know if you took a look at it, there was enough variety there, I think, to going. Instead of a turkey leg, they were doing turkey wings. Right? Okay, that's a different pitch. You could argue, is that different or not so different? They had beer in the meat hall. They had beer in a quick service, and they had a beer at a third place there they were talking about. And of course, one of the beers that was on there was a Carlsberg,
right,
which belongs in the Isle of Mead.
Yes.
More than it does in Arendelle,
Yes.
So
agreed.
Was excited to see those things on the list. And I just think I guess because the food I'm looking at would pair well with those meads and ales and beers. So that's what I'm thinking about too, is that, okay, that's gonna be going well together. Now, will I be on the flight simulator on How to Train Your Dragon before or after I eat or drink? Yeah, probably before that I go sit down and eat one of those meals. But yeah, that was my thoughts on it. What do you guys think of the area?
I think that from what I saw food wise, whoever took the photos should be fired. That's what I think. Because did you guys see the salad?
Yeah.
Wow.
I was a little surprised when I started looking at this stuff, and the salad was one of the featured things. I'm like, a salad? This doesn't look like anything out of the ordinary. I'm just like, okay.
If you saw the asterisk on that, the photo credits went to Olive Garden, just so you know.
Olive Garden salad looks better than that, okay? Like, much better.
Well, really, and at least that's an unlimited salad. So.
And the soup and the breadsticks. But here's the other one, right? Here's the other one. This is the kids' dessert. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I'm not a How to Train Your Dragon fan. So if somebody wants to crack back at me and be like, no, that's like really accurate to something in the cartoon. Okay. But to me, it just looks like somebody was in 4th grade and created a dessert. So,
right.
I think the Dragon Thaw Fest looks really good. It looks like something that you would get at, 3 Broomsticks, for a dinner. Which again is something that Universal should emulate more if they're going to be doing more quick services, that kind of style of meal. But the rest of it is just kind of like, okay, give me the beer, give me the drinks, I don't care.
Yeah, so Meat Hall has it. Spitfire Grill has looks like the same foods in Mead Hall, but in bowls instead of on platters. And then Hooligans Grog and Gruel is the third quick service place, and that had it has beer on tap and stuff, but it has mac and cheese cones. And there's been an epidemic lately on Instagram of people getting these mac and cheese cones.
Yeah.
Places that get it, and there's some lobster mac and cheese and bacon mac and cheese and everything. So, and I haven't ever had one, but I've seen the craze. And so I thought, okay, these guys are on point. They're onto something that's hip and it's in right now. We just had an episode on mac and cheese, so yeah. I'm good with trying it.
One of the first places I saw a mac and cheese cone, though, was again a Disney, and that was at Cozy Cones in
California.
Right. So, yeah, it's a craze, but it's been Disney's had it for 5 or 6 years minimum, probably. Okay. Probably way long.
Yeah, I just saw one in Boston where they were doing a lobster mac and cheese, and it looked ridiculous. So
yeah.
So there we have it. Now, okay, there's one important thing I think that we need to cover that we haven't touched, and maybe more excited about this than anything we've talked about is the restaurants and particularly the bar at the Helios Hotel. I love grilled octopus.
It looks delicious, and I'm not
It-
even a fan of that normally, but that actually looks really good.
That
If it's half
that
as
does
good
look
as the one in Mythos, I'm sure it'll be great.
Yeah.
Well, that was the first thing that caught my eye, and I normally I would have turned it off, but after Carl last time convinced me to try it, I mean, if that's good at Mythos, I'm 100% willing to try it over here because that is probably really, really good.
And it would make sense that that style of food is going to be there in Helios, right? And I'm wondering if it's all that good and the menus that's similar to Mythos, does that give them the ability to trigger and pull the trigger on Mythos in that land and convert it into something else, right? Because if that was, the big draw, if they move that menu or even improve upon it and put it at the top of the hotel with that view, that might give them the green light to let Harry Potter's land consume the rest of the Lost Continent.
Yeah.
Mm.
Just a thought, as don't want to turn this into an armchair episode, but
No, save it though. It sounds like a good one.
Yeah, that definitely does. That one's
So the restaurant that serves this is called Flora Taverna.
okay.
Right? And Flora Taverna from the artist concepts actually looks a lot like Amatista's over at Sapphire Falls.
Okay.
And to me, Amatista's is one of the most underrated restaurants at Universal. It's just not convenient to get to. And because it's not one of the premier properties, people don't go to it thinking they're going to find a good meal. And it's also buried in the basement of the resort, right? So a lot of people don't go there, but the food in there is actually pretty tasty. I'm not saying it's a 5-star restaurant by any stretch, but the vibe that I'm seeing from this is very similar. And I think if they do just the equal quality food and they do it the same way, I think you're going to have a really good experience in this restaurant. So, I like it. We'll see where it goes.
Cool. That's a great observation. I did not think of it in those terms. And it's interesting that that's going to be there. So, what's the name of the place with the view at the top?
The Bar 17?
Is that okay?
Oh, you're talking about, I'm sorry. Yeah. Hey, we're talking about the new hotel.
Yes.
The new hotel is Lotus Lagoon.
Lotus Lagoon. Okay.
Yeah.
The views look unbelievable.
mm.
And there's certainly been a pattern of more and more properties in all the parks having these great views of the parks. But I think this one's going to be a little bit more intimate and physically closer to the park to have.
Yeah.
Real
My
good.
apologies. The one with the views is Bar Helios.
Bar Helios. Thank you.
Makes sense.
Though that looks like a proper place to have any kind of cocktail you can imagine in the world. That's all the rage is saying. Even if you don't go to the park, go to that bar. I think that's going to be a hangout for people in Orlando to go to, because you don't need a park admission. So especially those people who aren't as fortunate enough as you, Ryan, to get an opening day ticket, there's going to be a line to get into that bar to have some drinks and look at all the fun.
There was a line just to get into the other new Stella Nova and the other new resorts just because they opened, with nothing like that to even attract them. I can understand why they're not opening this yet, because they don't want people to be looking in on the park while they're putting the finishing touches on it. But it's almost kind of unfortunate that we don't know more about this stuff now that we're within 3 months of the park opening, right? Because there are still tickets and room packages available for opening weekend.
Yes,
and they're still available at every resort on property. So to me, I think there's a lot of people waiting to be like, what's everything that I'm getting before I jump on that? And I think Universal needs to do themselves a better service by just saying, like, here you go, right? This is all the stuff. Let's get it out there within 90 days. And
Yeah, look, they're starting to make progress. The
Yeah.
revision to the Harry Potter package is a classic example, right? I think they're, the question becomes, do I get unlimited access front of the line pass at Helios? If not in Epic, at least do I get them at the other parks, right? When I go there.
as of right now, this was actually answered recently. There are no plans to put the Express Pass at Helios either at Epic or any of the other parks, not just for opening, but for the future as well.
Interesting.
So yeah, Helios is going to be purely for those people that want to come and enjoy being at Epic, and that's it. They're not. There's no extra special perks. To me, that from a business standpoint, that makes me feel like they think it's going to sell out. It's so amazing. It's going to sell out all the time. You don't need to give people extra perks to do it.
Right.
Right. And right now it is sold out. People are excited about it. So when I said everything was open, except for those resorts, except for the new resorts, everything else is open. Right. But yeah, I don't think they feel like they have to provide more value.
That's fair. That's fair. Look, Guardians of the Galaxy is just announced opening up, standby lines. So, is that close to 2 years?
That's
Yeah.
probably over 2 years. Yeah. When did it open?
I'm just saying. I'm just without looking anything up or queuing. I'm just saying. Yeah, it's a 2-year time frame. So.
Yeah.
So I mean that's something to think about as you kind of pause there and see what opening day.
Yeah, it's almost 3 years actually.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that it'll be 3 years on the anniversary, or when Epic opens, it'll be 3 years of Guardians of the Galaxy. It's the same week. So, but yeah, that's a good point, right? Like 3 years in, they were able to get the virtual queues, the lightning lanes, and there's already people complaining about the lines, and they haven't even done it yet.
That's right.
Well, I mean, there's always going to be some form of complaint. Let's be honest, but
although shout out to Katie Sadowski, one of the MVPs, she was posting pictures today, actually, of her in the queue for that, and Peter Quill was in the queue. And she got a good picture of that. And that, like, if they have the characters roaming around in there and stuff, that'll be pretty cool. Actually, it'll make waiting in line a lot easier. Anyway, back to Universal.
Hey, we're back to Universal questions. Any questions from our listeners? Anything else we want to cover before we call it an evening, dudes?
I mean, for me, the only thing I want to talk about is what we talked about before, right? Like, how much of this is truly innovative? Right. Let's just temperature from you guys, right? Like, how do you feel with what you see in terms of let's keep it to the food and beverage today. We've done enough on the other stuff, but what do you feel about the things you see? Is there enough there that will keep people satisfied with the food? Is it better than what currently exists at Universal, or do you think it's going to be on par with what's there?
To be honest, I mean, some of the things I'm like, okay, these are interesting. These are nicely themed. But the issue is really how are they going to age? Because that's what happened over at the other two parks for Universal is, yeah, okay, this stuff's great for the first year and a half, 2 years, and then you're just like, okay, this is what I expect, this is what I'm getting, and there hasn't been major change, and other than like the random seasonal thing that randomly pops up or the special event stuff that you're like, okay, this is great. Excuse me. That's really what's going to drive this is, are they going to keep adding, or are they going to change out when they discover that certain things are a flop or certain things just don't do well, or something else comes better, or are they just going to keep the Instagrammable stuff? Let's be honest. Like that's a lot of what we're trying to do right now is get the buzz, to get the attention towards it, and they're doing a great job at that right now. But who knows how this stuff is really actually going to taste until we get someone that's actually tasting this and can give a true, honest opinion. it's so up in the air that it could look great on paper, but when you actually get it put in front of you, it could taste like absolute dog crap. So,
and history says that Universal's going to keep it, right? Regardless. It's me like, these are your options. We're more concerned about the optics. There's not many restaurants in Universal that have been closed or changed, despite being, Heart Attack Cafe or whatever, and Richter's Burgers, and these places have been around forever, and nobody's ever in them. Very rare. They don't get a lot of business in them. People buy more from the carts outside than they do from the quick service locations. But on the same hand, the last few places that they've opened to eat have been fairly successful. There's been some downers in there. The Minions one didn't really go as people hoped, but the Harry Potter ones have been very good and well received by people. So we'll see. We'll see. But it's a good question. It's a very good question.
So my assessment of it, as far as them doing the same or whatever, I get a feel from the places that are in Celestial. To me, that's going to be more of a higher quality vibe, as would City Walk, right? Those are going to be more of the sit down, more of the interesting cocktails, more of the plated service, the table service kind of environments, right? Those seem to be there. There doesn't seem to be any sit down formal environment in any of the lands. Everything's quick serve in the lands. The sit downs are in Celestial Park, right? And that's consistent. Like you say, we haven't seen that. Have we seen it? Have we not seen it? That's what we've seen at the other two parks. The even higher quality appears to be in the Hotel Helios. And that's consistent with, the best restaurants at Universal are in the hotels.
Yeah.
Right? Whether they're actual properties of Lowe's, of Universal's, or if they're, a third party well-known brand that goes in those hotels, right? And that's where the good food has been, and it's a kicked up a level beyond City Walk. So I think that is worked for them. They're consistent with that. They haven't tried to mix that up. I think sometimes there's a mistake trying to go for a high-end restaurant in a park that you've spent $100+ a day at to get in, and the lines are long. Taking an hour and a half for a sit-down dinner when you haven't seen these great attractions yet is not going to work. Universal doesn't do it. That's not their style. I think they've got the mix that works for them is consistent. And I think that's where you're going to find the quality of the food is. You want a good meal, so it'll be Celestial Park. You want something memorable, it'll be Helios. The good news for me is that so far everything I've seen is the food and the eating is not going to get in the way of my drinking.
That's true. Mm-hmm. But few things in the way of your drinking, Carl.
I know. That's important to me. I don't want to be distracted by, let's go try this food, when I should be focused on attractions and drinking. So that's where I am. And
I'm just surprised you said attractions and drinking, and not just my drinking.
Well,
he's starting to age in a weird way, Ryan. That's
of places I've drank with Carl definitely exceeds number of attractions I've been on with Carl.
Yeah.
Well, and just remember, dudes, drinking is universal. So
nice.
We're ready.
Well played. Have I missed anything? Have they announced any sort of character dining or anything like that? I mean, I know they don't do a ton of it at Universal anyway.
I haven't seen anything. I'm kind of surprised.
Character meet and greets, but there's no character dining.
I feel like that's a miss with the Super Nintendo world. I mean, like, maybe not everywhere else. I don't know that you need to do it. You could do it with Monsters, but that's kind of weird. Like, hey, smile for a picture. But like Mario, you miss out on there. You could
do it. You can do it in Isla Burke too.
I will say, but basing it off of what we've seen kind of in Japan with Mario, there's no meet and greet with any of the characters in Japan, as far as I know, or in California.
There's already pictures. There's pictures out. You can take pictures.
Okay, maybe I'm totally missing something there.
Yeah, it's Mario and Luigi mostly, but yeah, you can take pictures.
And I think it's listed as a meet and greet here, and there's another character meet and greet in Isla Burke too. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely, they've figured that out very well with a new DreamWorks land. So they're going to continue that process there. So look, it's another. We don't break the news. We don't talk about these things until they come out officially, right? Rather than rumors. And so they released it last week. We thought it was worthwhile getting on and talking about. So far, we're still, I think, we could say we're all encouraged about what we're seeing. It's, I think, more positive than negative. And the proof won't be till we actually experience. The fact that Ryan might be coming around to a couple things is I'm impressed with. So
yeah, I mean, there's enough there to catch the eye. There's enough there to say, okay, there's a really good chance this could be awesome.
Yeah.
I like, you guys know, I don't like to pass judgment until I'm actually there and experience it either way. But that also, I think, leads to me being more skeptical about things until I see it. You know what I mean? So, yeah, we'll see how it goes. But I'm excited to be there. I'm excited to check it out. I'm excited to see what's going on there. I think it's got so much potential to be just an absolute blast. But time will tell. Time will tell.
Yeah, we hope you enjoy the day. We hope we're not bugging you too much to come on live with us and see what you're experiencing. We hope that you just go absorb it for us.
I'm going to try to do a combination of both. I'll probably try to go live at some point and just like as I'm walking through for people. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be bugging you. So
yeah,
for sure. Well, is there anything else anyone would like to add?
Sorry to take away from your drinking for an hour and a half, Carl. I hope you're able to continue.
Oh, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. And thanks for all of our listeners out there who joined us. And thank you for letting us get a delayed start tonight because we like to do it live. We'll do it live. Okay, we'll do it live. Look, okay. I'll write it down and we'll do it live, okay? The thing sucks if we don't do it live. We'll do it live.
Okay. All right, Carl.
Okay. All right. I get it. I get it. God damn it. Jesus.
Later, dudes.
Later, dudes.
Later, dudes.
Thanks for joining us for this week's episode of Dudes Dish Disney. Please check us out on social media. On Facebook at Dudes Dish Disney. On Instagram at Dudes Dish Disney.
On X at Disney_Dish. Please check us out on YouTube. Like and subscribe at Dudes Dish Disney.
Please visit our sponsor, Magic Vacations, at magicvacations.net. More than just a travel agency, Magic Vacations has over 60 Magic Vacation planners committed to bringing you white glove concierge service. Using a Magic Vacation planner allows you to spend more time making memories and less time worrying about the details. For all of your Disney, Universal, cruise, and global travel, go to magicvacations.net. Magic Vacations. Discover the magic of travel.